Don't make a scene. Those were the words my mother whispered in the parking lot before we walked into the restaurant. Not, happy birthday. Not, I'm proud of you. Just a cold order, delivered with that look I'd known since childhood, the look that said, obey or there will be consequences. My name is Olivia Carter, 28 years old, marketing analyst in Seattle, living alone in a tiny Capitol Hill apartment that costs half my salary. And that March night on my birthday, I was about to make the biggest scene of my life. But to understand why, you need to know my mother. Linda Carter, 53 years old. Perfectly dyed blonde hair, flawless nails, smile that could sell ice to Eskimos. On the outside, she was the perfect mother, church volunteer, charity event organizer, the person everyone in the neighborhood adored. On the inside, controlling, manipulative, and, as I discovered a year earlier, a thief. I grew up thinking every family was like this, that all mothers read their daughters' diaries, that all parents monitored every cent you spent, that love meant control disguised as protection. My father left when I was 12, just packed his things and walked out, no explanations. My mother told us, me and my younger brother Noah, that he abandoned us, that it was the three of us against the world now. Years later, I learned the truth. My father didn't abandon us. He escaped her, and he tried to take us, but she threatened him with a custody battle that would destroy him financially. So he left alone. And I don't blame him anymore. But back then, I was a good daughter. Obedient. Studied hard, got a scholarship to the University of Washington, graduated with honors. Got a good job, my own apartment. Started building a life. And I started saving. To buy a house. A place that was truly mine. Where she couldn't just walk in unannounced. Where I could finally breathe. In 2 years, I saved $25,000. Every penny counted. Every happy hour declined. Every trip not taken. All tucked away in a savings account I'd had since I was 18. And then, on my 27th birthday, exactly 1 year before that night at the restaurant, my mother stole it all. Not all at once. Little by little. Small transfers I didn't notice because I was too busy with work. 300 here. 500 there. Over 6 months, until nothing was left. I found out when the bank called asking if I'd authorized closing the account due to zero balance. Zero balance. $25,000. Gone. When I confronted my mother, she had the audacity to cry. To say she was desperate. That her new husband, Mark, an idiot she'd met on a dating app, was going through a difficult divorce and needed money for lawyers. I was going to pay you back, Olivia. I swear. It was just a loan. A loan she took without asking. From an account with my name. My money. She made me promise not to tell anyone. Not to destroy the family. That it would be our private little shame. And like an idiot, I promised. For an entire year, I swallowed it. Smiled at family dinners. Pretended everything was fine. Rebuilt my savings from zero, living in an even smaller apartment, eating ramen, catching rides when I could. Meanwhile, Linda and Mark traveled to the Caribbean. Bought new furniture. Posted smiling photos on Facebook. With my money. And then came my 28th birthday. And she organized a dinner. A big dinner at a fancy Italian restaurant downtown Seattle, with the whole family. It'll be special, she said. To celebrate you. Lie. It was to celebrate her. To show everyone what a perfect family she had. What a successful daughter. What a wonderful life. And when we arrived at the parking lot, she turned to me with that icy smile and said, "Don't make a scene tonight, Olivia. Just smile. You can do that for me, can't you?" Something inside me broke. But I smiled. said okay, and walked into that restaurant. Without her knowing, I'd decided something. Tonight, I was going to make the biggest scene of my life, and she deserved every second of it. The restaurant was called Monteverde, one of those places with exposed brick walls, dim Edison bulb lighting, and prices that make you wince. The kind of place Linda loved because it screamed, "Look how successful we are." The table was set for 10 people. My mother at the head, naturally. Mark beside her, looking uncomfortable in a suit that didn't quite fit. My brother Noah and his girlfriend Sarah. My Aunt Patricia and Uncle George. Two of my mother's church friends whose names I could never remember. And me, seated directly across from Linda. Strategic placement. She could watch me, control me with her eyes. Everyone was already there when we arrived. Linda made a grand entrance, kissing cheeks, hugging people, playing the gracious hostess even though she didn't own the restaurant. "Olivia, you look so thin. Are you eating enough?" That was Aunt Patricia, always with the backhanded compliments. "I'm fine, Aunt Pat. Just busy with work." "She works too hard." My mother's voice, sweet as poison. "I keep telling her to find balance, but she's so independent. Won't let anyone help her." The implication was clear. I was difficult, ungrateful, refusing the help she so generously offered. Noah caught my eye from across the table. He knew. He was the only one who knew. When I discovered the theft, I'd broken down and told him everything. He'd wanted to confront Mom immediately, but I'd begged him not to. Told him I'd handle it. I hadn't handled it. I'd buried it. Until now. The waiter came. Orders were placed. Wine was poured. Linda dominated the conversation, as always, telling stories that made her look saintly and everyone else look slightly incompetent. The food arrived. Pasta, risotto, ossobuco. Plates passed around. Everyone eating, drinking, laughing at Linda's jokes that weren't actually funny. I pushed food around my plate, barely tasting anything. My heart was pounding so hard I was sure everyone could hear it. Noah kept glancing at me. Sarah, oblivious, chattered about their upcoming trip to Portland. Mark checked his phone repeatedly, clearly wishing he was anywhere else. And Linda held court, radiant and false. Halfway through dinner, Linda stood up, wine glass in hand. "Everyone, I'd like to make a toast." The table quieted. All eyes turned to her. She loved this. Being the center of attention. Being adored. 28 years ago today, I brought my beautiful daughter into this world. And what a journey it's been. Raising Olivia, and Noah, of course, as a single mother wasn't easy. But I wouldn't change a thing. She paused for effect, eyes glistening with manufactured emotion. Olivia has grown into such an independent, strong woman. Sometimes too independent. She won't let her old mom help her anymore. Gentle laughter around the table. I gripped my wine glass so hard I was surprised it didn't shatter. But I'm so proud of her. She's worked so hard. Saved so carefully. She's always been so good with money. My vision went red. She continued, oblivious or deliberately cruel. I couldn't tell which. "So let's raise our glasses to Olivia. My darling daughter. Happy birthday, sweetheart. To Olivia." Everyone chorused, raising glasses. I didn't raise mine. Linda sat down, smiling that satisfied smile. Mission accomplished. She positioned herself as the devoted mother, painted me as the successful but distant daughter, and maintained the perfect family facade. "Aren't you going to say thank you?" Aunt Patricia prompted. I looked at her, then at the rest of the table, then at my mother, who was watching me with that warning look. "Don't make a scene," her eyes said. The waiter appeared with a cake. Small, elegant, with "Happy Birthday, Olivia," written in cursive chocolate. Everyone started singing. Their voices washed over me, distant and distorted. Make a wish. Someone called. I looked at the single candle flickering in front of me. I had a wish. A very specific wish. I blew out the candle. The memory hit me like a punch. 1 year ago, March 15th, my 27th birthday. I'd come home from work early, planning to treat myself to a nice dinner and a movie. Nothing fancy. Just a quiet celebration. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Ms. Carter? This is First National Bank. We're calling regarding your savings account ending in 4792. My savings account. My future house fund. Yes. We wanted to confirm that you've authorized the closure of this account. We show a final withdrawal of $2,847 this morning, bringing the balance to zero. My heart stopped. I haven't authorized anything. What are you talking about? Ma'am, we show multiple withdrawals over the past 6 months, all authorized with your PIN and online banking credentials. That's impossible. I haven't touched that account. There was a pause. Ma'am, I think you need to come in. As soon as possible. I went to the bank. They showed me the records. Transfers. Dozens of them. Starting 7 months ago. Always different amounts. Always transferred to an account I didn't recognize. $25,000. Gone. I filed a fraud report. They investigated. And that's when I learned the truth. The transfers had been made from my mother's computer, using my login information. Information she had because she'd insisted on being listed as a joint account holder for emergencies when I'd opened the account at 18. I'd never removed her. Never thought I needed to. I confronted her that night. Showed up at her house, the house she shared with Mark, her husband of 6 months. She answered the door in a silk robe, wine glass in hand. Olivia! What a surprise! Come in, come in. I walked past her into the living room. New furniture, new TV, new everything. All bought with my money. We need to talk. About my savings account. Her face didn't change. Didn't even flicker with guilt. Oh, sweetheart, I can explain. She sat down, patted the couch beside her. I remained standing. You stole from me. I didn't steal. I borrowed. Mark was going through this awful divorce, and his ex-wife's lawyers were bleeding us dry. We were desperate. I was going to pay you back. You took $25,000. Without asking. That's theft, Mom. Don't be dramatic. We're family. What's mine is yours. What's yours is mine. That's how it works. No, that's not how it works. She took a long sip of wine. What do you want me to say, Olivia? I'm sorry. Fine. I'm sorry. But the money's gone now. Mark's divorce is almost final. We can start paying you back. Small amounts. Monthly. When? Her eyes went cold. When we can afford it. Some of us don't have fancy jobs and no responsibilities. Some of us are trying to build a life. I stared at her, speechless. I need you to not make this into a big thing, Olivia. Don't tell your brother. Don't tell your aunt. This is between us. Family business. You mean you don't want anyone to know you're a thief? Her face flushed. Watch your tone. I'm still your mother. A mother who stole her daughter's future. She stood, drawing herself up to her full height. If you make a scene about this, if you embarrass me, you'll regret it. I'll make sure everyone knows how ungrateful you are. How you refuse to help family in need. How selfish you've become. And there it was. The threat. Wrapped in maternal concern. I left without another word. And for a year, I kept quiet, afraid of the scene she'd threatened, afraid of being painted as the villain, afraid of losing the scraps of family I had left. But that fear was turning to rage. And tonight, on my 28th birthday, in this expensive restaurant, surrounded by people who thought Linda was a saint, that rage was about to explode. The waiter was cutting the cake when Linda started talking again. You know, everyone, Olivia was supposed to buy a house last year. She'd been saving for so long. But, she laughed, that tinkling laugh, she ended up spending it all. I don't know on what. Probably too many brunches and shopping trips, right, sweetie? The table laughed. Good-natured. Teasing. I felt something crack inside me. Noah's eyes went wide. He knew what was coming, tried to catch my attention, shake his head slightly. But I wasn't looking at him anymore. I was staring at my mother. I keep telling her, you need to be more responsible with money. Save more, spend less. But kids these days, they want everything now. More laughter. Aunt Patricia nodding along. Mark studying his phone, checked out as always. Actually, that's not what happened. My voice was quiet. But in that moment, in that crowded restaurant with its background music and clinking silverware, it cut through everything. Linda's smile froze. Sorry, dear. I said, that's not what happened. With my savings. Oh, well, whatever. The point is, I stood up. The table went silent. Olivia, sit down. No, I don't think I will. Linda's face was flushing now. That warning look intensifying. We're not doing this here. You're right. We're not. Because you don't want a scene. You said that in the parking lot, remember? Don't make a scene, Olivia. She laughed nervously, looking around the table. I don't know what she's talking about. Birthday emotions, I suppose. I picked up my wine glass, held it up like she had earlier. I'd like to make a toast. Olivia, Noah started, but I cut him off. To honesty and family. Two things I thought went together. Until last year. What are you doing? Last year, on my 27th birthday, I had $25,000 saved. Every penny earned, every dollar counted. For a house. My first house. Linda was standing now. Stop this right now. But I didn't get to buy that house. Because the money disappeared. Everyone was staring now. Confused. Uncomfortable. There was a banking error, Linda said quickly. A glitch. It was sorted out. It wasn't a banking error, Mom. It was you. The words hung in the air like smoke. You stole $25,000 from my savings account. Over 6 months. Transfer by transfer. To pay for Mark's divorce. The silence was deafening. Linda's face went from red to white. Mark looked up from his phone, finally paying attention. Noah put his head in his hands. Olivia, you're confused, Linda started. I'm not confused. I have the bank records. I have the transfer details. All made from your computer. Using my account information. Information you had because you insisted on being a co-signer when I was 18. Aunt Patricia gasped. Linda, is this true? Of course not. She's making this up. She's been angry with me for months because I wouldn't lend her money. You didn't lend me money. You stole mine. Mark stood up. Wait. You told me that money came from your retirement account. Linda shot him a look that could kill. Mark, not now. Did you steal from your daughter to pay my legal fees? It wasn't stealing. It was family helping family. By taking without asking, I would have paid her back. When? I asked. It's been a year. You've been to the Caribbean. You bought new furniture. You got a new car. But you haven't paid me back a single dollar. Linda was shaking now. With rage or fear, I couldn't tell. How dare you do this to me? On your birthday. In front of everyone. After everything I've done for you. Everything you've done? What exactly have you done, Mom? Besides control me, monitor me, steal from me? I raised you. I sacrificed everything. You sacrificed my future. For your new husband's ex-wife's lawyers. The whole restaurant was watching now. Not just our table. Servers standing still. Other diners turning to look. Linda noticed. Of course she did. She lived for appearances. You're embarrassing me, she hissed. Good. Now you know how it feels. I put money on the table. More than enough to cover my portion. Happy birthday to me, right? Noah stood. Liv, wait. Tell her, Noah. Tell everyone what you told me when I showed you the bank statements. He looked at Mom, back at me, then made his decision. It's true. I saw the records. Mom transferred the money over 6 months. Olivia didn't spend it. Mom took it. Patricia turned to Linda, disgust clear on her face. Linda, how could you? It wasn't like that. You don't understand. I understand perfectly, I said. You needed money. You took mine. You lied about it. You made me promise not to tell anyone. And then tonight, you made jokes about my financial irresponsibility. In front of everyone. Using my money to fund your perfect little life while I ate ramen and took the bus. Tears were streaming down Linda's face now. But I felt nothing. I didn't come here to ruin your night, Mom. I came because you invited me. And then you couldn't resist. You had to take one more thing from me. My dignity. My story. You had to make yourself the hero and me the irresponsible child. Linda reached for me, but I stepped back. I didn't ruin your night, Mom. You did. Last year. When you stole from your own daughter and felt no remorse. I picked up my purse. I'm done. Done pretending. Done protecting your reputation. Done being the good daughter who keeps your secrets. Olivia, please, enjoy your cake. Enjoy your perfect life. But you're going to do it without me. I walked toward the door. Behind me, chaos erupted. Mark demanding answers. Patricia's voice raised in anger. Sarah asking Noah what was happening. Church friends whispering. And Linda. Linda crying. Loud, dramatic sobs designed for maximum sympathy. I didn't look back. The next 3 days were a blur. My phone exploded with messages. From Noah, begging me to call him. From Aunt Patricia, saying she had no idea and she was sorry. From church friends I barely knew, some supporting me, others condemning me for publicly humiliating my mother. From Linda herself. Nothing. I blocked most numbers. Turned off social media. Called in sick to work. Stayed in my apartment and tried to process what I'd done. Part of me felt guilty. The good daughter part that had been trained for 28 years to put Linda's feelings first. But a bigger part felt free. Like I'd been holding my breath underwater for a year and finally surfaced. Noah came over on day 3. I let him in. You okay? No. Yes. I don't know. He pulled me into a hug. I'm proud of you. I destroyed her. She destroyed herself. You just stopped covering for her. We sat on my couch. He told me everything I'd missed. Mark left her. That night. Packed a bag and went to a hotel. He's filing for divorce. Apparently, he genuinely didn't know where the money came from. Good. Aunt Patricia isn't speaking to Mom. Neither are her church friends. Words spread fast. I felt a twinge of guilt, quickly suppressed. And Mom? Devastated. Keeps calling me. Wants to talk to you. Says you misunderstood everything. I didn't misunderstand theft. I know. But Liv, she's falling apart. I'm not saying you have to forgive her. But maybe, no. The word came out harder than I intended. Noah, she stole from me. $25,000. And then she made me feel like I was the problem for being upset about it. She's not sorry she did it. She's sorry she got caught. He nodded slowly. Fair enough. He stayed for an hour. We ordered pizza. Watched bad TV. Didn't talk about Linda. When he left, he hugged me again. You did the right thing. Even if it doesn't feel like it yet. After he left, I pulled out my laptop. Did something I'd been avoiding. I wrote an email. To Linda. Not an apology. An explanation. I told her that I loved her. But I couldn't have a relationship with someone who felt entitled to my money, my trust, my silence. I told her that I needed her to acknowledge what she did. Not justify it. Not explain it away. Acknowledge it. And I told her that until she could do that, really do that, we had nothing to say to each other. I hit send before I could change my mind. She responded within minutes. How can you be so cruel? I'm your mother. I made one mistake. And you've destroyed my life over it. I closed the laptop. A year passed. I moved to a new apartment. Still small, but brighter. With a balcony and plants and windows that actually opened. I got a promotion at work. Senior marketing analyst. With a raise that actually allowed me to start saving again. I went to therapy. Learned about boundaries, about the difference between love and control, about the difference between honoring your parents and letting them destroy you. Slowly, painfully, I rebuilt. Noah and I stayed close. He got engaged to Sarah. Didn't invite Linda to the proposal. She didn't know it had happened. Aunt Patricia checked in regularly. She'd cut ties with Linda too. Said she should have done it years ago. My father reached out. Noah had found him on Facebook, told him what happened. We met for coffee. Awkward at first, but healing in its way. He told me he was sorry. For leaving. For not fighting harder. For letting me believe I wasn't worth fighting for. I told him I understood now. That sometimes leaving is the bravest thing you can do. Linda tried to contact me dozens of times that year. Texts, emails, letters left at my door. All saying the same thing. She was sorry, she'd made a mistake. Couldn't I just forgive her and move on? Never once did she say, I stole from you and that was wrong. Always, I made an error in judgment, or I was in a difficult situation. Justification, not accountability. I ignored them all. And then, on my 29th birthday, a letter arrived. Different from the others. Handwritten. Just 2 pages. Olivia, I've spent this year angry. At you for exposing me. At the world for judging me. At myself for being in this position. But mostly, I've spent it alone. Mark is gone. Patricia won't speak to me. My friends from church found other congregations. Noah barely answers my calls. I kept waiting for everything to go back to normal. For people to forget. For you to forgive. But normal isn't coming back. Because normal was built on lies and control and the belief that being your mother meant owning you. I stole from you. Not borrowed. Stole. I took money you earned and saved, without asking, and I used it for my own purposes. And then I lied about it. And then I made you the villain for being hurt. That was wrong. Completely, inexcusably wrong. I don't know if you can ever forgive me. I don't know if I deserve forgiveness. But I need you to know, I finally understand what I lost. Not just money. Not just respect. You. I lost you. And that was my doing. I'm sorry. Truly, deeply sorry. If you're willing, I'd like to try to rebuild. Not the relationship we had, that was broken from the start, but something new, something honest. If you're not willing, I understand. Either way, happy birthday. I hope this year brings you everything you deserve. Mom, I read the letter 3 times. Sat with it for a week. And then I responded. Not with forgiveness. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But with willingness. To try. To see if she meant it. We met for coffee. Neutral territory. 30 minutes, I said. That's all I'm promising. She looked older. Tired. Like the year had aged her a decade. Thank you for coming. I haven't forgiven you yet. I need you to know that. I understand. We talked. Carefully. About what she'd done. About why. About the years of control that led up to it. She didn't justify. Didn't make excuses. Just listened and acknowledged. It was the first honest conversation we'd ever had. At the end, I told her, if we do this, if we try to rebuild, it's on my terms. Boundaries. Honesty. No more control. She nodded. Whatever it takes. I don't know if we'll ever be close again. I don't know if trust can be rebuilt after it's been shattered so completely. But for the first time in my life, my relationship with my mother isn't based on fear. It's based on choice, and that's worth more than $25,000 ever could be. My name is Olivia Carter, 29 years old, living in Seattle, building a life that's truly mine. I made a scene, the biggest scene of my life, and it saved me. Sometimes the scenes worth making are the ones that tear everything down, because only then can you build something real.